The marathon election campaign approaches the halfway mark. A new poll shows the Conservatives are losing support while the NDP is now in the lead, with the Liberals close behind. In an exclusive Nanos poll for CTV and the Globe and Mail, the survey shows the New Democrats have gained 3 points in the past month to take the lead with 33%. The Liberals also got a bounce, jumping up 2 points to 31. The Conservatives, who started the campaign in first place, dropped 5 points, now sitting at 26%. Joining us now to talk about some of the notable moments in the first half of the campaign, CTV political analyst Scott Reid. And it was a pretty rough weekend, but this is a pivotal weekend. I guess really a pivotal start after the long weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely a holiday weekend from hell for Stephen Harper. I mean, it was, you lose candidates, and there are embarrassments, and there were embarrassments that sort of had water cooler power when you're talking about the fellow and, being vulgar in someone's kitchen. So that's the kind of stuff that actually penetrates, right? I mean, what really bugs you when you're running a campaign is this is the kind of stuff that people actually do talk about at their cottage. A lot of politics they don't. That's the kind of stuff that they chit-chat about. Similar with the refugee crisis. That's the kind of stuff that has actually grabbed people. We see a new poll today saying where the Prime Minister is not where most Canadians are.
On the refugee crisis.
On the refugee crisis. And people are paying attention. So if you look at the sort of first half of this eternal election campaign, you've had Mike Duffy fall into recession, the refugee crisis, candidates blowing up on you. And so it's been a pretty rough ride for the Conservatives. And you look at it and you say, well, that's why they've fallen to third place. But I guess if you're them, you say, well, now the new campaign begins, and at least we're still in the hunt.
And the money starts to flow. When you think about, at this point in the campaign, and we've talked a lot about, well, people now kind of settling back into routine, school, work, that kind of thing. Most of the vacations are over, and people will start talking and thinking about things. Is the Duffy thing then kind of disappearing because it's not back in court until November?
The big question for the Conservatives is this: will it be discouraging to their base? And we talk all the time about the Conservative base, but the reason you have to talk about the Conservative base is that 29% of Canadians say they're going to vote for Harper, and not many more. So if they can't get that number of people out, and this latest poll from Nick tells us it's down to 26, but if they can't get that number out, then they're euchred. And the big challenge about Mike Duffy is that it discourages Conservative voters. It's not so much that it switches other people, right? They've made up their minds. They've decided, if you're mad about Duffy, you're not going that way. But it's the sort of thing that embarrasses Conservative voters and says, I'm going to be discouraged. The hope for sure is that on October 19th, which is still a holiday weekend away from us, right? We still have to get through Thanksgiving, that by that point, some of that sting will have faded, and maybe it will. The discouraging thing, though, for the Conservatives, it has been a really tough first month to this very long campaign, and how baked into people's attitudes go. Have people firmed up their view and saying, you know what, I really do want to get change? I mean, that's the kind of question you ask guys like Nick Nanos. How attached to change are people? Because if they're dead dog attached to it, it doesn't matter if there's 30 more weeks in this campaign. People will have their vote. So the second half begins. All right, Scott Reid, thank you very much for coming in. Thanks, Bev.